Hey guys, what's up? And welcome to another episode of Tech and Time Labs. It's to you boy Sage Oni, and this video is a video I actually wanted to do. Disclaimer. Okay, actually not a disclaimer, but fun fact. I actually wanted to do this video the same day I got this phone. So immediately I got this phone, I actually just wanted to jump right in, start recording, and throw the review out there. But I was like, Sage, wait a minute. Why don't we take our time, play with this phone, test, use the cameras, use the microphone, record videos, take this on trips, and see how well this one actually performs over time. Because it's actually going to be my first time actually switching my primary driver to a Samsung. So why the Samsung S20 FE? And you'll think about it, why the FE? It's not the biggest in quotes, it's not the brightest, it's not the most overspec S20 out there. There's the Ultra, there's the S20 Plus, which technically sits a little bit above the FE. And it's just like, why this very version? And for me, there are three major reasons, which I'll just list now, then we'll get proper into the video. The first was pretty much FHD at 120 Hz. So everybody has S20 on the rank as QHD pretty much, but QHD at the price of you losing the 120 Hz refresh rates. So that's a triple camera setup that actually works great. That this is one of the best, well tested, like it's not overly spec'd out like the S20 Ultra, but in all daily scenarios, which I'll get into eventually, this has actually proven to be a very decent camera setup, and that is why I actually went for this phone. So let's get into the review proper. S20 FE after 90 days. But that being said, why did I go for this phone? What made it stand out and what made me make the switch? So the first, which I mentioned initially when the video started, was 120 Hz refresh rate. It's a big jump, it's a huge jump. Even in 2020, I don't think there are so many other phones out there, apart from the gaming phones that usually starts around 144 Hz or pretty much sits around that. This is probably one of the highest or maxed out refresh rates you can get on any phone out there right now in the world. So just takes that spec up for me straight up. The second was 5G. So 5G connectivity has been out here for a little bit and it's been improving, and of course we're just starting to really get the benefits of 5G technically with guys like Verizon rolling out the ultra wideband, and it's becoming faster, more fluid, more accessible everywhere you go. And as a result, it was like, yeah, it's a no-brainer. It's technically time to switch. Like, phone now has 5G, so what we're talking about? Better screen quality, definitely full HD display. Nobody would argue today that Samsung makes one of the best, if not technically the best display on any smartphone in the world. Even the previous, my previous one, which is the OnePlus, their displays actually been made by Samsung too. So it just tells you or goes a long way to tell you how good the displays on Samsung phones are like. So the next is the S20 FE actually supports the latest Snapdragon 865, which is the top of the line. There's technically no other one you want to get outside this right now. Like, there's no other smartphone apart from, this lineup actually has Snapdragon 865 is the top of the line, so it takes that off too. Wireless charging for clutter-free space. So now I can just like snatch up my phone and continue working without stress, and if I need to like use my phone, I just swing it towards myself, put it up and swing it back, and it's just so easy to use and so fluid that it also helps to like keep off clutter like myself. The next thing is more real estate. Definitely, I mentioned that initially, the screen to body ratio, that's a very big one for me. It's more versatile with a power share to which, let me just go into that now. So, I did not only just switch the S20 FE on the phone part or the Samsung part, I actually switched everything to Samsung. So my smartwatch, I moved from Fitbit to the Samsung Active 2. And for my buds, I actually switched to the Samsung AirBuds, which all support wireless charging. Wireless power share actually does work for me. And even though I've only had to use it in reality twice now, just for the fact that I needed it twice and it came true for me, is more than enough reason for me to actually appreciate that future. And the next part, which also still ties into this, is the ecosystem. So similar to what Apple does for a majority of people. You've got the Apple ecosystem, which is everything Apple. You're talking about your watch to your phones to your laptops, everything is in sync. And on my laptop now, I can actually receive messages thanks to the Windows Companion. I can also seamlessly connect it from my buds to my watch to the phone. Thanks to the Samsung's Tizen OS tying in with the Android which they built for the phone or the Gel app. Everything just pretty much ties in together and works efficiently. And those were primarily the key reasons that made me switch. So now we've talked about the reasons that made me actually switch to the Samsung S20 FE. Now let's talk about why you should probably care about this phone after 90 days and if this phone would actually really work for you. So to continue the review, let's talk about the things that I really do love about this phone. So, as you guys would be expecting, first up, it's actually the camera system. So the biggest part of this one for me so far from using it has been the camera system. And that is primarily because I'm a vlogger. And primarily, I actually use my phone to shoot all my vlogs. Like literally all of them. I'm still yet to officially shoot a video using it. Except for one video I actually used a digital camera for, which or a DSLR camera. And that was to test that DSLR camera itself. All other videos have actually been shot on my smartphones. So the setup of a 12 megapixel ultra wide, a 12 megapixel primary shooter, which is the wide band, and then you've got the 8 megapixel telephoto. Those three in combination literally delivers at almost every single thing that I want to do. You're talking about things from landscape shots, pictures, videos, night mode. Like this has actually come to play out really well in almost every scenario, which leads on to the second feature that I actually love the most about this phone. And straight up, that is Pro Video. So Pro Video allows you to actually shoot videos like with technical names is something like a Filmora app. So not as in detail as you get with something like a Filmora app, but something really decent that actually works. And it's great to actually have that as a stock feature on this phone because that allows you to actually manipulate things like your exposure, the white balance and all of that to get a very detailed focused shot. And I see this actually helping me a lot with night shots. So recording night videos primarily on the camera using its default AI and all that is really crap most times. Like literally it's crap. But once I switch into the pro mode, it just literally gives me the opportunity to manipulate things, edit it. And I'll actually show you the difference night and day. I can actually see that up there right now. It's just like, wow, like it switches real fast as it switches to pro video, especially for night video recording, where we know for a fact that most phones actually really struggle with nighttime photography because of the sensor size and all of that. But this actually really does help a lot with that because now you have the ability to actually edit things to get the best image whenever you want to. And still talking about cameras, let me just mention a downside now. So the biggest downside I actually have with this is I don't really call it its AI. The biggest part is actually night mode. So night mode, when you want to take shots at night, is a little iffy. Sometimes it works, sometimes it gets the image right up. Sometimes you need to take about 3 or 4 shots just to get the right one. So it's a little bit of time wastage, which wasn't so much of what I would have loved to appreciate it. But does it work? Yes, it does. When it works great. Most times you technically have to struggle with it before you get something really decent, usable. Sometimes I just resort to flash just to just leave it. That moves us up to the next part of the camera, which is the camera setup, the front-facing camera, which is 32 megapixel front-facing camera. Now that's a lot of megapixels, and it does shoot great selfies. Like when I mean great selfies, in low light, in full light, in landscape, wherever it actually shoots great selfies. And the fact that you could actually shoot it to a slight wide I call it band where you can actually have multiple people like in the shots, so it actually gives you that variation. It pretty much widens a little. That also makes it really great for capturing group selfies. As a result, that actually works really good, and that's one of the things I actually love the most about this phone. Next up is the fact that you've got a decent storage size with this. So you've got 128 storage if you're going for like the base version, and you've got 256 if you're going a little bit upwards. And with that, you've got the expansion slots, which allows you to use up to 1 terabyte of SD card, and for me, that pretty much works and covers everything I really need to. So that's also another thumbs up right there for me. The smooth 120Hz refresh rate, I've mentioned that, and it seems like it's just tautology at this point, but I love the 120Hz refresh rate. It's dope. The large battery size actually ships out of the box with 4,500 milliamp hours. That is more than enough to get any regular user a whole day of usage. That being said, the 120Hz refresh actually is a battery killer. And if you're using bright display and you're always on your phone, you should probably get a decent 6 to 7 hour battery life out of this, which means you'll actually have to charge probably once or twice a day, depending on how much you use your phone. For me, unfortunately, that's actually at least charging my phone once every day or sometimes twice every day, depending on how much I actually get to use it. But it's great having a battery that big. It actually means you've got a decent battery size to last you a day or two, depending on what kind of user you are. The next part is the great speakers. So the speakers are actually great and they sound really good. Like in almost any scenarios, they're loud enough, they are crisp enough, the bass out of it is decent, and it's a great speaker on any phone out there right now. And so I love the speaker. Especially the type that actually watches movies on your phone, you will really love the speaker setup on this one. And the software has actually really improved. So the reason I left Samsung, I actually started my Android journey with Samsung, funny enough, way back with the S2, S3 series. And then I jumped off at was it the Note 3 or the Note 4 was the last Samsung I actually used. And from then it's been OnePlus all the way. And that was because bloatware. Samsung has been the king of bloatware, but with the One UI, they've kept on trying to refine things to make it a lot better, fluid, fast, and get rid of as much bloatware as possible. And I would say kudos to you, Samsung. This actually really feels great. It feels nice. The touchability, the accessibility, the placement of the apps, the buttons, everything just really works great. And I'm actually in love with the One UI. Save two major things. So one is the default Samsung Pay and Swipe Up. Yo, it took me about a whole month to discover I could actually disable that guy. Like, yo, that was just put an option up there for people to know that you can actually turn it off ASAP, because I prefer gestures, and if you use gestures, it becomes really frustrating that you actually have that always pop up whenever you're trying to swipe up. It's just really frustrating. And the second part of it is, of course, Bixby. The dedicated side button to launch Bixby was actually impossible for me to get rid of. So I had to just use something to assign a double click instead to launch Google Assistant. And if you still hold it down, it's still going to launch Bixby, which is a little frustrating. Or you can turn that off by making it to power off the phone instead. So double tap will launch Bixby, and if you hold it down, it will power off the phone. So that's a walk around that. But yeah, the software experience is great. And the last part of it is in the dual messenger, they don't have IG. So please, Samsung, if you're watching this, please add Instagram to your dual messenger apps, please. All right, so we've talked a lot about why switch to the phone, what the S20 FE, things I do like about the phone. What about things that I don't like about the phone? All right, so things that I don't like, let's start off with something that is, should I complain about it in 2020? Probably not, but I'm still going to start with it, Earphone Jack. So there are very few scenarios where I still find myself wanting to try something out with an headphone jack, and that's probably because I also do music production where I just want to quickly just hook something up, probably like I'm at a show or whatnot, and I have to go fiddling looking for an adapter, which most times is not with me trying to just quickly hook it up with the amount of my music or stuff like that, and it's just an hassle. So for that reason, it's something I don't like about it, but I can't really complain. The second one is the video camera features. So generally, once you go above 30 frames per second, 1080p, most of the features like smile detection, stabilization, some extra camera features that they do have, which unfortunately I haven't been able to actually use any of those because I always shoot at 4K 60fp. All of those get disabled automatically. So you use literally everything that comes bundled with it once you start to shoot at 4K 60. But if you're trying to get the phone for that reason, it's a no-no. The second part of it, which shouldn't really be a complaint, is actually the battery. I mentioned that a little bit earlier because of the way that I consume battery, the way I use the phone, and that is the battery management. Actually, so it's not really so much about the battery, it's more about the battery management. There's still a little bit they could actually do to refine that because this guy actually burns a lot of battery. I would say 120 hertz probably is the curse for that, but there's a way they can still improve the optimization to actually help conserve battery. Now there are a few battery saver modes which you can use, and I've actually used the extreme one before when I was really in a fix, and it did last for a little. Now next one would definitely be the memory. So I would say I got myself into a fix with this phone, and that is the fact that I don't think any 2020 flagship phone should actually is it a flagship phone? Yes, let's call it a flagship phone. No 2020 flagship phone showed a launch officially with 6 gigabytes of RAM in it. Is a fix. So I use a lot of apps. I have a lot of apps usually running in the background. And every now and then this phone actually freezes, stutters, or lags, and that is all thanks to the 6 gigabytes of RAM that it spots. The next will be the charging speed. So for a phone that actually spots for 500 milliamps, having a charging speed of 25 watts is lame. Sorry, Samsung, I'm just going to say that there. It is lame. Phones support as much as 65 watts or even more than some crazy specs today. 25 watts is too low. They should have actually allowed this to go up to 45 or at least 30. At least 30 will even make a difference because this charges so freaking slow. A full charge from low is about 2 hours plus, which is still really slow. Samsung, I don't know what to say, but that is still really slow for me. It's too slow. And the last part of it, which actually really disappointed me, which I think they played a very nice game with this in trying to drop costs. So Samsung decided to ditch the red glass display for plastic. I said display, the red back glass for plastic. Part of that, which they actually also didn't mention, is the Corning Gorilla protection on the front. So the rest of the series launched with I think 5 and 6 Gorilla glass protection. This most likely will be a 3. At best should actually be a 3, which means it is very fragile and very easy to break. On drop, for the first time it was okay. A second drop unfortunately broke the lower end of the screen, which I'll show you guys right now, and that also cracked my camera on the rear, the camera glass. Now that does not actually affect my camera's performance, but most unfortunately, it's cracked. How much this phone actually cost me? So at launch, this phone retailed at for $699, which was actually insane. Like in $699 for all the specs on a single phone is just mind blowing. Like, whoa, like come on, it's a no-brainer to actually get this. And for the fact that comparing it to, frankly, every other S20 on the lineup, it was just like, okay, like Samsung, what are you doing? There's literally, unfortunately, no other S20 on the lineup that actually comes close to this in terms of value and specs. So this makes this the most valuable or the best spec'd out Samsung S20 that is available out there, like I said. And potentially the price might keep dropping over the next couple of months, especially with the release of the S21 series. Thanks so much for sticking around so far. Please like this video, comment below if you guys want me to do something else or what you guys would like me to do, and please subscribe. Like the subscribe would be really welcome. My birthday was last week, or actually just this weekend, and I was hoping to get 200 followers before my birthday, but unfortunately we still got stuck on 77 or 78 right now. So please guys, we do tech reviews, we do comparisons, we do car reviews, pretty much. We used to do travel, but we're moving travel to a different page right now, which is launching actually this week too. So you guys, I'll put the description below for the travel page. You guys can also follow that up for everything Tracy travel contents. You've got content on White Mountains coming out, Las Vegas, Houston coming out real soon. Like those are already populating. United States about to release in the next 2 weeks, and there's more content from places like Chicago, San Francisco. There's a whole lot of places coming your way very soon, especially how do you travel during this COVID pandemic and still travel for cheap and all that. I'll be doing videos and sharing resources on all of that on the travel page. So please follow Stage Travels, and the sub will be appreciated on that too. That being said, my recommendation for S20 FE, go get it. For the price, Black Friday there was a lot of deals. For the price, even at $6.99, we're buying it outright. There's no other S trendy, and I mean it. There's no other S trendy right now that actually comes close to this. Except you're trying to get the Notes. In that case, I recommend you get the Notes Ultra 5G, which is of course the biggest one you can get. And also, a side note, please, if you're trying to get any of the Samsung phones, and you're in a region that only offers Exynos, and you have the opportunity to actually buy the Snapdragon version from anywhere and ship it to yourself at a cost of about like $50 extra, please just do that. Comparing both versions, from my personal experience, Exynos just doesn't come close to Snapdragon in any way, and it's just like paying the same price for less, unfortunately. And that's just an extra that I'm just gonna add into the video. And so thank you guys for sticking around. Thank you guys for watching this, and I really appreciate the sub. And see you guys on the next one. Until then, my name is Sejoni, and this is Tech and Time Labs, and go win.